Hello, welcome to the listening show. Show you can listen to. Hosted by me, Walter. Also accompanied by Zach. This is the show you can listen to. And this is the part when I tell a story. Once upon a time, there were 3 Robin Hoods. One Robin Hood was standing in the middle. The other 2 Robin Hoods were standing opposite each other, left and right. So 3 evenly spaced Robin Hoods. And one Robin Hood said to another one, "Hey, come here." And he came over. And so 2 Robin Hoods were standing together, and there was one. And the one said, "You're rich. You have more Robin Hoods than I do." So he killed them both. The end. Thanks for listening.
This is like an alternate universe where Robin Hood kills people.
For having too much. He doesn't take them. He just kills them.
Yeah.
So they were all equally, they lived in equity, the 3 Robin Hoods, until he had more friends or Robin Hoods, and then they deserved to die.
Was this in Sherwood Forest, by the way, to keep our theme of forest-related stories?
Probably.
Yeah, Sherwood Forest.
I definitely imagined a forest. So
Speaking of forest, I had to pee before we started. I told you I'd tell a story. We're out on the farm where there's open land everywhere, and so before we do the podcast, it's like a little too far to walk inside and pee when you can just pee outside in the farm.
it's free.
Yeah, it's free pee, free toiletry. Anyway,
It's free real estate.
and my grandpa was over here working on this side of the farm, and so I went over here to pee, which happens to face the road. Nobody ever drives on this road, so I was worried about it. I just whipped it out and started peeing. And then I heard the distinct sound as well as saw headlights go whoom into the direction that I'm at, and I hear and I'm thinking, I have a lot more pee to go. I've been drinking all day. So I squeezed my stomach as hard as I could, and it just I squeezed pee out, and I barely got it out in time. I was doing like the quick bang against my leg to get the drippies out kind of pee. And then as soon as the car came into view, I just tucked it away and came back. It was a close call.
Couldn't pee fast enough, and you're banging against your leg.
Yeah.
Sounds like a real pickle.
That's so descriptive. But that's what happened. I was just like, quick, get all the drippies. Anyway, that's how this episode started.
Yep.
21 episodes in. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
21 episodes. We have over almost, I think, 2,500 streams on our podcasting sources.
I wonder how many subscribers you have on YouTube. If we were situated more conveniently or comfortably, I could pull that up, but I cannot because our internet is limited.
I know we're over 1250 now, which is cool. I think we're closer to 1280.
Is it worth? We can talk about whatever we want. I was just thinking about going on a tangent about possibly relocating the studio to a place with technology for the purpose of, among other things, live streaming.
Yeah, we could talk about the show for a minute before we don't have a
Top of the show before we do the show. Yeah. So without getting anybody's hopes up or putting ourselves on the spot, those 2 things. We'd like to have Patreon so we can provide additional content, and also so you can give us money. What do you think?
What did you think?
What did you think?
What did you think?
Some things we'd like to do is we'd like to be able to live stream these when we do them, so you guys can, those of you who want to listen and or watch or both, preferably listen, can talk in the chat, and then we can do live questions or a live question. That'd be great if we could do that. We'd like to do a segment where we kind of talked about this before. I'll let you talk about it.
Oh, I'm so excited about
save
this.
that for patrons. And then the third thing is just list all you guys in the credits after each episode, which would be really simple and cool. To do that, we need internet, which we don't have out here at farm. So we're thinking about possibly moving the setup to my house or something where there is room or internet. You shook your head no.
No, I shook my head yes this way.
Okay, sorry. I'm dyslexic.
Yeah, I agree completely.
I read that wrong.
I'm shaking my head no while I say all these confirmative things. For sure. Definitely. That's hard. Whoa, that's hard to do that.
Not. It's like
go
tapping.
the other way.
It's like
no, I definitely don't want to do that no matter what. That sounds like something I'd hate to do. No, I almost did it again. Yes, that's what I wanted to say.
It's just like tapping your head and rubbing your belly.
Yeah. I can do that.
Actually, I take it back. It might be harder to do what you're doing. Anyway, so we're just thinking about that. Again, not to put ourselves on the spot or get your hopes up, but we'd like to expand our technology. Speaking of expansion, I can't think of a good segue, but
growth.
We're working on it. We're working on our logo, among other things. So that will hopefully come about in an amount of time that isn't too long. And then going back, you perhaps could mention the third thing we'd like to do for patrons.
There's a lot of growth ideas. We were talking the other day, like, man, we're having so much freaking fun with the listening show. And both of us would be satisfied doing this stuff always. But we recognize that as content creators, if you want to go places, you have to change it up a little bit. Not that we'll ever stop doing fun stuff, like just hang out like buddies like we are doing. But also we had this idea. I was like, how fun would it be? Our road here has phone call capacity. You can plug your phone in and then you can just FaceTime people or whatever. And we had this idea when we were talking about the idea of patrons that maybe we could call some of our fans just on the spot and talk to you guys, like goof around. We don't know exactly. We'd have to figure out the details.
We don't know exactly, but our idea is our patrons can give us their phone numbers if they'd like. Yeah. And then they basically agreed to possibly being called randomly by us on the show at any point. And so we have a phone here, and then we can call. During one segment of our show, we call a fan. The fan doesn't know that they're going to get a call, just that they could because they gave us their number as a patron.
Oh man,
it'd be really fun. I mean, just call them for however long. Just talk to them, catch them off guard, get them on the show.
We'd have to sort out the details, but the idea is if you become a patron, you can volunteer your number privately, so nobody would know except for us. And then when we get to this segment, I'd come up with a little jingle for the segment. Oh, time to call fans. Yes. Yeah. And then we go, all right, welcome to Time to Call Fans. Here we go. And we spin the wheel. Andrea, we're calling Andrea. Boop, 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 boop. Ring, ring, ring. She doesn't answer. It goes to voicemail. We leave you a voice
message. Because you don't get off that easy.
That's right. Anyway, the idea, it was fun to us to call people. So introduce more people to the podcast. That'd that way. Fun. It'd be a great little thing to just cut up and use as a highlighter, like throw it up on Twitter.
We're gonna have some good calls. We're also gonna have some bad calls.
Sure.
But I'm looking forward to all of them.
Yeah, we mulled the idea over of prank calls, but I don't think we liked that idea.
No.
Because we don't really want to prank
backup
people.
Idea.
Yeah.
There was specifically in the absence of being able to call fans who are more or less volunteered or want to be called.
That's it exactly. The idea, we don't want to do it without people volunteering it. And so we were like, wait, fans might volunteer it. That'd be awesome to talk to fans too. Yeah. Just be like, hey, tell us all the great things about us. Right now, while you're
thank you. I'm glad to talk to you. Now, tell us all the accomplishments you've made in your life this past week.
In order.
Put them on the spot.
Yeah. In alphabetical order.
How have you contributed to the betterment of mankind?
Mm-hmm. Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah. And we reserve the right to hang up whenever we want.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't want to go into that too much.
Yeah, we won't talk about bits we have about it, but the idea is so exciting to us. So hopefully when we get the patron thing sorted out,
we have a lot of ideas, and the things we just mentioned are the things that are, maybe beneficial to the show, and they're things that we think we could actually do. So that's that for now.
Yep. So that's the show update. Thanks for continuing to do the listening. It's been actually really fun to see people's comments and responses. Mostly been positive. I don't think it's been very many negative. Got a couple reviews on iTunes and things like that, and they're all positive.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't recall seeing anything negative. I'm sure they're out there. But
I think people have thought negative things.
Oh yeah, they should.
Yeah, they should comment them. Comment if you hate everything too.
They see Walter's profile. I don't like it.
Next week we see like the camera has changed and it's you straight on.
It's awkwardly right in the I'm like, it's just like right really close to you. So you're framed normally, but it comes to me, it's just like right here. Every time it's so obnoxious. And it cuts to me and I was like this because I'm this close to the mic. That's a funny idea.
What an interesting idea for a show would be is a show that takes every criticism to heart and changes completely because of it.
That's funny, but you realize
it doesn't be impossible because it'd be so many conflicting things. Eventually, it's just not a show.
Yeah. And the first major pessimistic observation I have is, then you invite people to create criticisms for the sake of altering the show. So, I mean, it pretty much becomes fixed if we accept certain criticisms that we think would make the show funny.
Sure, we can pick the criticism we accept in this scenario, but I'm not even saying I want to do that for this show. It's just an interesting idea. You can imagine like someone's like, I think that Brian talks too much. Someone should come and shut him up every once in a while. And so,
you have like
a
tape.
Yeah, a guy does it. Exactly. You just imagine. And I think about this and the politics, blah, blah, blah.
He reaches from behind. Yeah, over your head like this and puts the tape on slowly like, okay, now it's time for you to stop talking.
And then it's just quiet for like 2 minutes. The other guy's like, I wasn't prepared to say anything, but you were talking too much. And that's what the guy said.
That's what he said.
There should be a guy.
What are we going to do?
How's your week been?
I must be on the spot like that. Good is the first word to come to my head, but I can't say it's been especially good or remarkable for any reason. I feel like a good thing happened. I know a good thing happened for you.
Yeah.
Tell everybody about it.
Like 20 good things.
Oh.
I've been
2,700 good things.
Yep. Yeah. $2,700 worth of good things. No, I've already talked about it, but I got my carpet today.
Oh.
Or the other day.
Yeah.
I have it today, but I got it the other day. I've had the single most productive, I came up with the best way to say it, work on the home front on self-motivation.
Wow, that was already messed up.
Sucks. That was the worst. But the idea is that I was super self-motivated, got a ton of housework done this week. Freaking the cleanest house ever. It's the first time I've ever lived by myself, and it is the cleanest house. I could do open heart surgery, and I'd feel comfortable. Never had a day of surgical training in my life, but I know how clean that place is, and I'd be like, it wouldn't matter if I butchered his organs. He'd be fine because it's so clean and sterile in here. That's how confident I am. And it looks great, I think. And it's very comfy. It's a lot. Yeah. It's like warmer too. It feels cozy and warm and nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want everybody to see it. Like everybody in the whole world. I just want to be like, Mr. President, come here to my house. Do you see this? And he's like, wow, carpet.
I'm like, I know.
I'm trying to say. Thank you, Mr. President. Dalai Lama. Look. I'm trying to think of random people.
Random people of importance.
Mother Teresa. What do you think about this? It's shag. She's like, is this shag? It's not shag. I don't know what it's called. I'm just trying to imagine jokes. Anyway, I got it done. The house is very clean. I've just been spending the last 2 days. I worked from home today. It was like, this is the funnest I've ever had working from home. I just love it. It's a freaking, like my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say about it, but it is just really exciting to me. So that was a good week. I'm very tired.
Yeah.
Let me just get that out of the way. I had to move furniture out of like 5 different rooms, like, and just heavy stuff, and then back in later, and there's reorganizing, and yeah, it was very productive. I almost don't know what to do now that I have this place all
you
myself.
mentioned something that you want to do in the house. I can't remember, but you're like, the next thing I want to do is this, and then you're like, but I can't afford it because I just do carpet. One thing was lighting, maybe.
Yep, that's one thing. I've got a list of about 5 things, I'd say.
Like you have things that you'd like to do. It's not a matter of knowing what you'd want to do. It's what can you do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm in a similar place.
I've talked before about how the place itself is a little dated, and so like all the details about it are kind of dated. So things like the doorknobs, the lighting, whatever those are called, switches and the panels, like all like little things like that you just look at them and you're like, that belongs to the 70s.
It's fun. It's just like modding a car, but you live in it.
Yeah, so I have to like remod different parts of it at different points. Now there's like this bizarre like juxtaposition between the floor and the walls, and like the furniture is pretty nice. There's some furniture that's not nice, but like the TV, all new and nice, all new stuff. And then like the doors are randomly old. And so it's charming in a way that's flawed, but it's also, you can tell this guy's put effort into this house, which is like what I like.
This guy's telling the amount of effort that I put.
Mm-hmm. It's a place I'm proud to bring girls to, which is what every man should want. Like, girls, look at this. They're like, wow, carpet. Like, yeah,
I know.
That's
what the president said.
That's what the president said too.
That's what the president said too.
That's funny. Yeah, it was a good week. I told you this earlier, but for the first time, I think we talked about this a couple podcasts ago, but we had come to the conclusion that I should read the Bible again. So I did that the other day. I read it. And then I was too lazy to read for a couple days, but I was like, you know what? I felt good about when I read the Bible, so I should read it. And then I looked at it, I was like, I do not want to read this. And so I pressed the play button because it has an audiobook down there now. And that man's voice is so charming. It's very like this. And then God said, but it begat blah, 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 and so and God. So it's like really cool, but I fell asleep to it really quick. So, but I did that last night too. So I feel very wholesome today.
I got my worship in my sleep.
Yeah. Woke up at like 5:30 in the morning to a man speaking at me. I was like, whoa. And then it was him still going. He was just all the way through, like halfway through Isaiah.
It really is nice if you can sleep with something on. It's hard for me to do, but you seem to be able to have no problem falling asleep with like movie or something on.
Anything. Gunshots could be going on. I could sleep through it.
But it's hard for me. But if ever there's a situation where I'm so tired that I do not care, I can fall asleep. That just feels more like good sleep. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's actually I have the opposite issue. If it is too quiet and dark, won't be able to sleep. And actually, even if like, you know how like people have fans or really monotonous sounds and noise in the background, if it's just regular noise like that, I could sleep. It's noise, but I sleep better if it's like varied noise. So like I normally put something on YouTube with like changes in volume and stuff, and then I just because my brain has stuff to focus on in a sleepy kind of way. It's weird.
No, I get it. There was a time when I could do that, but now it's my brain tends to jump in to what's going on, especially when the sound changes. I immediately am awake, even if it's monotonous. Mm-hmm. My favorite movie, The Book of Eli. There's several, and like most movies, there's different sections. There's different segments that are balanced much louder every time. That stuff wakes me up. Anyway,
I have an example, and it's funny because you'll laugh at this. I actually fell asleep to Terminal Montage the other day, and it just was auto playing through Terminal Montage videos. And one example of me waking up to something that has just super high volume variance in those videos. But the exact thing that I woke up to was in the one about Smash Bros. Where Kirby's flying with the star, and the guy in a crappy way starts singing the theme song, like, "Come and sing into a fire of flame, distance," and then it like crashes. It's like a guy just singing the theme song in a funny way. And I woke up to "Come and sing into a fire of flame." I was like, "What is this?" And then it was I saw Kirby flying to the earth. I was like, "That's funny."
That's nice.
I went back to sleep immediately. It was funny. That's weird. That is definitely a weird thing about me, though. I've had people be like, "How do you sleep in here?" And I was just like this.
That's funny because at first you were like this.
It's because I thought of the punchline halfway through.
Yeah, I realized that, but it was funnier that way.
How do
you sleep at night?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's
yeah. Too simple that you forgot it.
So simple that how do you sleep at night?
How do you pass out at evening? I can't remember how it goes.
Yeah. How do you close eyes and rest brain at nighttime? Anything else in your week? Nothing special?
I feel like there is, but I don't. Not thinking of anything. My Jeep blew up this week, right? Was that this week? It would have been if it wasn't this week. It was really darn close within the week. Yeah, that happened. Jeep blew up. If you want to hear the story, I guess may as well. You know it, but took my Jeep to go pick up pizza. Was coming home.
I have something to add before you do that.
Sure.
You just put your car up for consignment at the exact same time this happened. So it's extra humorous in this sort of messed up way. Go ahead.
That's right. That's right. I used my button. I'm telling the story. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what order I tell that part in, I guess. But my Jeep, I was at a light or at a stop sign, stopped, rolled, didn't move much, and I felt, and I was like, that feels like my axle just stopped working. Like, that's weird. So I got off the road because I used my front wheel drive to pull me off. Luckily, this is the middle of nowhere in an intersection. And then apparently the rear driver wheel was outwards, like 45 degrees like this. I'm like, huh. So my wheel almost completely snapped off the axle because the axle rod or something in there just snapped. Anyway, long story short, Jeep exploded. No reason why. But what's funny about it is because I had just gotten the Jeep back after it having been gone for so long getting fixed. And because I'd gotten the Jeep back, I gave the car to a dealership to sell it because I don't need it. I just need the Jeep. Then that happened. And now I'm like, well, I don't have a vehicle now. So I called the dealership and said, hey, that car I gave you, can I have it back? And luckily they were just like, yeah. So I got my car back and Jeep's back in the shop again. So it's silly, but I'll try it again. Once I get the Jeep back from the shop again, then I'll try to sell the car again. And if I can just get that Jeep to work, I'll be good.
Yeah.
I had this thought earlier today. The Jeep, I say, oh, gosh, I'm so out of breath. I don't even know why. I'm just sitting here. I've said before, the Jeep has everything. It's versatile. What's the word? It does everything. Expensive. It goes fast. It does everything. And I realized it does everything except it's not dependable. It will explode.
It is the single most fragile vehicle I've ever heard of. Well, it is a Jeep, which are notoriously very not fragile.
Well, it's so custom. That's why it's so prone to exploding. Yeah, like I'm getting lazier with age. And so like, my bikes, whenever I get a motorcycle, I'll customize it all the way and it's more special, but there's more things that can go wrong with it. As I'm getting older, I just want to buy a vehicle that's done. Like I don't want to do anything to it. So like the e-bike, my electric bike, all I did was add armor basically, but I haven't modded it and I don't want to because I want it to just work. I don't want to avoid the warranty either. The Jeep is the opposite. Literally everything. Yeah. Minus the front axle. Everything on the Jeep has been replaced. So anything could go wrong. It's good. But it's so damn special. It means more to me than the Super Duke. I decided a while ago. I guess my favorite special vehicle. I want to keep it forever if I can. I think
you should.
Thanks. I remember the first time you saw it. I was at the apartments. You came by one night and I said something about you ride with me and it made you wait by your car. And I had previously had my old 92, 93 two-door black Jeep. And so I rolled out in my brand new Jeep and you came up to it. It was nighttime. You didn't know I had it outside the apartment. You came up like, no way. I was like, yeah. I was like, did you get this? Like, yes, I got this. I got it for my birthday. So exciting. And it was just like a fun night for both. Like, yes. And so that would have been almost 5 years ago. Let's see, how old am I going to be? 29. So yeah, almost 5 years ago.
No way.
I remember I was like, I fooled him. He didn't know. The Jeep got big and new and it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. You were literally, you texted me to ask if I could pick you up and I couldn't for some reason. But because I was driving somewhere else. But like as I'm reading this text about your Jeep exploding and I'm having Siri text you.
Oh, now you're talking about this past week.
Yeah, when your car blew up.
I thought you were talking about 5 years ago.
No, when your Jeep blew up. Yeah. You texted, asked if I could pick you up. I'm Siri message responding you, telling you to no. And I'm thinking in my head, man, that dude's probably spent 6 times more on that vehicle than I did on mine. I've had mine for almost exactly as long.
Really?
I got mine like 4 years ago. I got mine right after you got yours. And mine is just as new, the same year, I believe. What year's your Jeep?
Do you know what year's?
2017.
2016.
Okay, so mine's a year newer, I guess. So
mine's so old, that's why it breaks.
Yep. And I have never ever had an issue with mine. And
that's not
yours
true.
Gets like
your tire blew up.
Yeah, but that's not like a structural problem with like the freaking wheels flying off and exploding. So the tire exploded, but that's another story. But I've literally taken that thing in for oil changes. Well, that's it. And you get like 5 miles to the gallon with your Jeep.
No, you're exaggerating. I get like 6.
Okay. On the highway, you get 6.
When I haul, I get 6. To be fair, my mileage is probably 8. But it's still bad. Whatever. How many miles are on your car? Probably not as many miles as my Jeep.
I think 57,000.
Yeah, mine has like 86.
You've done a lot of road trips.
79 on the original engine. This new one's got like, and then this one's like 3,000 or 4,000 miles on it, whatever. I've driven it more.
That's true.
But the thing is, it's been modded so much. If I hadn't changed it, there's no reason why anything should ever have happened to it. That's all it is.
I believe that to be true. I also know for a fact, because you told me, that the engine that you put in there has never been put in a Jeep before. And then I kind of...
No, it's not. It's more specific than that.
It's a Firebird, right? Firefox.
That's like
2000.
Saying,
what
man,
is
did you see how Patrick Mahomes got that puck in the net? You'd be like, what?
I'd
That's
be
what
offended.
you just said.
I'm sorry for offending you.
Firebird? What?
What is it called?
A Firebird is a car. You put a car in your Jeep. That's what you just said.
What is it called? Wait. I don't remember. What is it?
Yeah, don't. You're 6 feet deep. Don't go any further.
Just cover me.
It's I almost called it a Hellhawk. That was my word, my call sign. It's a Hellcat.
Hellcat Firebird
engine. No. And that engine has never been put into a manual Wrangler before. They've put it into a Jeep like mine, but an automatic. So not quite like mine. Hasn't been done before. So there's not only is it heavily modified, it's uniquely modified. So of course it's going to be susceptible to that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Anytime you hear someone say this is the first to ever have, maintenance is going to be a thing with it. Like this is the first rock that was ever put into the Erie Canal. Then there's going to be people. This is a terrible example, but you can imagine they have it in a museum. You have people taking care of this rock.
Oh, look, it's the rock. The first one that was put into the Erie Canal.
The Erie Canal rock.
You said it correctly.
Yeah. Erie. The Erie Canal rock.
It's S_IRI.
Yes, Erie.
Erie Canal.
It's
imagine it to any other name like Walter. So Alter. W space Alter.
That makes me think of a Looney Tunes joke where like someone's like, what did you win today? And it shows like a giant boulder gets squished. One of the characters goes, you've won the Rock of Gibraltar.
It was something.
I love it. Anyway, the whole point of that was it doesn't belong. It doesn't belong in there, but it sounds great and is great for the Jeep.
Did you unplug the cables?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. What was great for the Jeep?
Being able to have that cool engine in there that's fast.
It's so special.
It is special.
It's so special.
It's just also very
unreliable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You see, I also think it's pretty loud, and you like loud stuff, but I'm like, I'd rather it be quiet, and so I never ever would get that engine for my vehicles, but everybody who likes cars comes by and they're like, whoa, is that a Firebird engine? I messed it up on purpose that time.
I know you did. I could tell because you smiled first.
Yeah. Is that a Firebird 3000 engine Hawk?
That'd be like the name of a Looney Tunes engine. Yeah. Firebird, the Acme 3000 engine.
Yeah, Acme. Yeah.
Yeah, I like loud, but I don't think all my vehicles have to be loud. I like my electronic bike, and I love how quiet it is. That's why I like it. I can't wait to get a Cybertruck, and that's gonna be super quiet, and it'll be fine. But some vehicles I think deserve to be loud. You know how loud my Super Duke is, right? That's really loud. The Jeep isn't that loud. I don't want the Jeep to be that loud, but I'm just saying the Jeep could be louder, and I don't think it's that loud. I don't think it. How do I put this? My car. It has adjustable valves, which means basically you can open and close and make it louder or quiet on a go, which is very cool. And I do use it when I go home. Like tonight, I'll use it because it'll be after 10, so I'll just turn it off. I think that's cool.
I do too.
But yeah, that's a good way to say it. The Jeep deserves to be loud. Your Toyota Corolla does not deserve to be loud.
It doesn't.
That is my definition of rice. Rice is faking performance. So if you put a wing on a Corolla and it doesn't give it any downforce, it's fake. It's rice. That's my definition. So if you put a Pringles can on your Toyota and make a brrr, like fart, like some people do, that's rice. I don't know what other people mean by rice. Some people tend to mean if you mod your car and make it higher performance vehicle, but you don't actually race it, then you're fake. Like, no, it's still a race car. Like, you can make a race car. You don't have to race it. That's whatever. That's my definition.
I have a thought experiment, and this isn't meant to change your mind or anything. It's just purely because I'm curious if this is how you actually think of it. Let's say a beautiful person, like just gorgeous woman.
Got a wing?
No. Just beautiful. This is about a woman. She's beautiful. And she has all the nicest appearance. She buys herself beautiful things to wear all the time.
But she has a Pringles can?
No. She goes to a party and then says about herself, I deserve to be looked at because I'm this beautiful and because I have all these nice things. And I deserve the attention I get. Would you be pissed off?
Beautiful things don't ask for attention.
That's fair, but
you ever heard that?
No,
that's not my phrase.
But what if she didn't ask for it and she gets it? That doesn't matter. We'd be both fine with that. You deserved it. But if she said and knew she deserved it, even though technically, sure, maybe she's right, you'd be mad that she said she deserved the attention.
Sure, yeah, that's
okay.
That's like a Ferrari revving his engine at a light to get people to look at him. For the purpose of getting people to look at him. If you're there and you just want to hear the sound of the engine and you're doing it for yourself, I can't fault you for that. But if you're literally just trying to get attention, then that's, yeah.
Well, we both are not a fan of attributing motive, but if, let's say, as another example, we were driving under a bridge in your Jeep and you revved the engine and you did it because you like it. Your guy next to you doesn't know that. He probably would be like, wow, he just wants my attention.
It'd be like him. That's my thought.
Yeah, it'd be like the beautiful girl being like, one would say
sometimes
that I deserve all the attention I'm getting.
I gotta interject because I'll forget. Sometimes I am aware of what other people would perceive my actions to mean. Where sometimes I get self-conscious, like, oh, he might think I'm trying to race, and I don't want to change his behavior. Is a good example.
Yeah.
So if I want to just under a bridge, I want to do that, but there's a guy with a little rice beaner next to me. If I do that now and he's there, he'll probably want to race and he'll start driving stupid, and I don't want him changing the way. Sometimes I'm conscious of that, but ultimately it's not my responsibility.
That's true. I'm with that. Okay.
Well,
I hope you get it back soon. I do miss it.
Thanks. I miss taking the top off. Gosh, that's fun. I can't wait to do that again.
It's pretty cold, but it would be fun in the summer.
Well, yeah, in the spring and summer. Wasn't it fun? Was it good news? Driving the top off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's what the Jeep is really doing. It's just like, I'm not a winter kind of car, man. Just wait till summer. Take me out.
It can do all the things. I can't wait.
It can do all the things except
not explode.
Exactly.
Actually, it can do all the things, including explode.
Wow. Hey, that's pretty cool how your car is super high performance in every regard, but can yours do this?
I was thinking about the Craigslist listing. Blah, 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 coilovers. Also explodes.
Yeah, exactly.
Explodes reliably or consistently.
So but can it do this? That's funny. Oh, good work.
Good work.
I have a topic change that we could go to if you're done with your car. Are you done with your car? Anything else exciting about it?
No.
Did it grow an extra wheel by chance?
It lost a wheel.
Yeah, it did. I saw an old friend this week, and it was really cool.
Cool story. So I have a topic. If you're ready for go ahead.
One of my very oldest friends, technically. It was interesting because I was like, I've probably known this guy's family. Not that I would have known him at this age, but since I was born, more or less. And he's about a year and a half older than me, but there's pictures of me being like a toddler and him being around. So I was like, yeah, one of those things I haven't talked to him in 10 years. I was thinking he just got out of the Navy. That'd be cool to catch up. So I invited him over and was kind of hoping that he could come hang out. Didn't know if he for sure wanted to. And then he was like, yeah, I want to do that. That sounds fun. I was like, nice. So he came over last night to my new carpeted house. I got to show that off. I just remember like he walked in. I was like, welcome. And I was kind of like half nervous because I haven't seen him in years. And also half excited because like he is going to see my carpet and he's going to think I am
a good person,
a good, wealthy guy. Very nice carpet house
high
guy.
status.
Yes. Anyway, and that's the first he was like, wow, it looks great in here. And I was just thinking on the inside, like, yes.
That's what women want out of a man is 6 foot, 6 pack, 6 figures, carpet.
Yep, matches the drapes.
Decor.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Anyway, he's complimented your carpet, and you got welled up with pride.
I did. Yeah, we got to catch up and talk. It was crazy. Just it's one of those weird things where, like, when you don't see someone for 10 years, and like 10 years ago means you were like halfway through being a teenager. There's a lot that happens in that time. Like, you know, you graduate high school, you go to college, you get your first job, you get many other jobs, you have many relationships. So it was like a lot to catch up on, and we couldn't get to half of it, but it was super cool to see him. And I think, yeah, I got to hear a lot about the Navy, which was like, wow, I didn't know that's how that worked. And it was super interesting. I wish I could know more. He kept getting to things, and I'd be like, so did you have any dangerous things happen? He's like, yeah, we had a couple dangerous things. It's like what? And he's like, well, most of it's private. And I was like, ah! I was like, just want to know, did you explode any torpedoes? Like, I just wanted to ask him questions like that, but I don't want to be the uncool guy who's like nerding out over his cool Navy job. But anyway, it was cool to catch up with him. It was a blast from the past. It definitely maybe be like, what have I been doing for 10 years? I haven't actually thought about that much lately.
Yeah.
Have you thought about what you've been doing for 10 years lately?
No, I don't want to think about that.
Isn't that crazy? That's wild. Why don't you want to think about that? Because you'd be like sad?
Not sad, just disappointed. It was mostly meant as a joke.
Yeah.
I've thought about 5 years. And a lot happens in 5.
Yeah.
But where would you be in 10 years? 10 years, I think I'd be at Panera right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would be working at Panera. I would have just started my first job basically 10 years ago. That's weird.
Yeah. 10-year territory is where you get back to the, I hate who I was.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
kind
for
of
sure.
Territory. That's where you're
even
like,
even 5 years is enough to dislike who you were, but 10 years,
what an embarrassing
almost guaranteed you're going to not like who you were.
You just remember the embarrassing things about like, I was such an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should give myself more credit, but I was an idiot too. I hope that when I look back 10 years to this time, I'd be like, man, I was an idiot for sure, but I was pretty doggone smart compared to everybody else. Like, that's what I hope for.
No one else I knew got carpet like I did.
Yeah. Yeah. Very nice carpet.
Very nice carpet.
I'm going to look
One
back.
time this guy came over, I hadn't seen in 10 years. You know what he said? He said, looks nice in here. So I wasn't an idiot.
I'm gonna be 35. I'm gonna be thinking someone's gonna be like, "What were you doing 10 years ago?" And I'd stop bubble back.
Yeah,
and I'd be like, "I had nice carpet." I was an idiot, but boy, was my voice.
I'm not really ripping on your carpet, but in case it's perceived that way, your carpet's awesome. It makes the whole place more cozy, like you said, and it's more you, so that's why it's cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you got your tattoo. Like you talked about carpet, how cool it's going to be like, all right, I trust you. But then seeing is like, you were absolutely right. The tattoo, the carpet, that's a better display of you, and it fits and it's good. A good, yeah. That's what it was like.
And similar to the tattoo, or similar to the carpet, the tattoo also feels unfinished because it is unfinished. It's like kind of right here and it stops.
A pretty interestingly close analogy as far as like the tattoo doesn't cover everything like it's meant to. The carpet doesn't cover everything like you want it to either. But
and I feel similarly about both of them. Like, I love this, but all I see now is this. And I feel like soon it's going to be that way with the house. Like, man, I love this, but all I see is the knobs and the lights. No, I get it. It's if I just had like more money, then I'd do it all. I'd just finish the sleeve and then I'd be happy in life. That's all I need to be happy. Finish the sleeve in the house. It's a joke. Obviously, there'd be more, but it would be nice to get a little further along.
I need to look up tattoo stuff, but I'm too lazy.
You say need like you actually need to? I'm guessing you mean want to?
If I want to get a tattoo, then I need to look up tattoo stuff.
Do you want to get tattooed?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. Well, I'm not 100%, but I'm close. Really, it's just the plan that I need.
Since when?
2 or 3 months ago.
I know you mentioned them, but I thought it was like a passing curiosity. But you've been thinking about it?
Yeah. I guess certainly I like the idea more now than I did 3 months ago.
Yeah.
But the problem is I haven't dedicated the effort of just thinking about it. It was the big one. Not necessarily if I want it, but what exactly the tattoo would be. I don't know exactly. If I did, that'd be a huge reason to go, oh, that's such a great idea. I want it. As opposed to, I have a general idea of what I want, so maybe I want to. That's where I'm at. But I'd have to think about what I want and then kind of more or less research tattoos. And the next step, I guess, is finding somebody to do it. So anyway, you mentioned yours. I'm like, I want mine.
I know. I want mine to be finished too. One thing I'm glad I did, I know this is the lesson that I learned from other people who got tattoos. Every one of them didn't like their first tattoo because they're like, it's too small. And it doesn't match with the rest of it. So the first one I wanted to do was like a whole thing. So I spent a crap ton on it, and it's like almost a half sleeve. It goes from my shoulder here and goes down to here, more or less, but it doesn't go underneath. And so I wanted to pick 4 or 5 things I wanted to integrate for the first one. Maybe I would have done it a little differently. The guy did it a little bit different than I wanted, but what I knew I'd regret is if I didn't make it a full incorporated thing, because the fullness of it sort of covers the flaws in it. Anyway, I'm glad I did it, even though, some people would look at a scenario where it wasn't exactly the way they wanted it, and they'd be like, it's ruined because it's not just what I wanted in a tattoo that's on you forever. Rather than that, I'd just be like, make it a piece of art. If there's flaws, whatever.
One problem for mine is, and I know I would have said this to you, is I'm worried that because of where I want it, like maybe if my body shape changes, it's going to look bad.
Oh, I've been worried about that every day.
That's one of those stages of getting a tattoo is, well, one, knowing what I want, which involves, well, really the main thing, I'll get back to that if you want me to. I would need a consultation with someone who actually knows tattoos to say, yes, if you want it to look like this, I would strongly advise you make sure your body looks like this first, or it does not matter, or this is exactly what's going to happen if you change this much. Like someone who can actually tell me so I can make a better decision. But that requires, work.
Yeah, I very intentionally thought about that when I got this half sleeve thing, and I didn't do the bottom because I assumed if anything, my body would change and I would get bigger arms, more or less. And if I get bigger arms, I'd rather not get the inside tattooed because I don't know why in my head it to me it makes sense if your arms get bigger than the skin stretches on the inside of the arm. No clue if that's even genetically how it happens or factually how it happens. But that's what I think. And so I like to think that this will all stay the same shape on the front and then back here.
So ultimately you never let that affect your decision to get the tattoo you wanted. You just like hope for the best.
Yeah, I might die tomorrow, so I was kind of thinking like,
yeah,
hey, I should get it.
And if, excuse me, if he says something like it will change this much, then I can decide if that's worth it, which I probably would. But I'd be lazy to not check and ask.
Yeah,
as I am right now, like you said, I could die tomorrow and I don't care. So I kind of want to, but I would like to. What if it turns out, oh, actually, it will be very bad? Like, oh, I'm glad I found that out. I don't know. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be ignorant about it. And I also don't want to be rash about it. That's why I'm taking months to think.
I also don't assume, like I think I've told you, but I don't really desire to be much huger than I am in life. I'm sure if bigger arms would be cool. That'd be, but I'm fine with being a little small for a guy. As long as I feel strong, but I do. That is why I'm holding off on this. I think that, worst case scenario, I get freaking ripped and this stretches a little bit and then I go touch it up and fix it. And it is an art piece. So maybe it looks a little bit fat, but I'd have huge arms then.
Yeah. It's like, well, here you are right now. The choice is, would you rather have a good looking tattoo or be ripped with a messy tattoo? Both are fine.
Yeah.
So
I'd be ripped. I feel like I'd be fine. That's funny.
Yeah. But you see, I'm not at that stage. I haven't even gotten a tattoo yet. So I kind of should be diligent about it.
It's a good idea. And I did think about it for a long time. I had a different plan originally. I wanted it to be all over my shoulder, but now I actually like the idea of a sleeve that goes down here. I think I know. Well, I don't know what I want to do next, but I think I know where I want to do it next.
Where?
So I can't show you, but tattoo ends here. I actually want to leave an intentional space right there and then start a gauntlet tattoo on my forearm.
Okay. And then maybe later you'd connect them but that's not the point. You just
I don't think I would. I think it'd be cool to see just not blackout, but patterned blackout tattoos, space, patterned blackout tattoos.
maybe
would look
you can
like-
help me think about my tattoo and just tell you what I'm thinking.
Do you have an idea?
Well, I'll tell you what I don't know what I want, but I have an idea, like I said.
Yeah.
So, here my collarbone over the scar. It's probably 6 or 8 inches wide, but it's very thin, and I want to
Something 6 to 8 inches long. Are you thinking?
I think
what could you be thinking? Maybe a body part.
One end needs to look different than the other, like bigger, like at least twice as big.
Okay,
you
so
might say
something personal, close to you.
The end could be like the point of it. Really, is
Okay.
Where
is it doing anything? Is it? What is a symbol of strength?
Yes, strength, like manly,
Strength.
virile strength would be
Virile
good.
strength. Okay, and something that's
Fertil-
close and personal to you.
Yes, but also something relatable. You finally broke.
I was like, relatable. Can you imagine?
Universal. How about that?
Okay, you should get a penis tattoo.
Yeah, that's the joke we're making because you get a penis.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. I would like the tattoo to be, because this is a rectangle if you were to go around it, but I don't know if I want it to be an exact rectangle or vaguely a rectangle. I don't know how tall I want the rectangle to be because the cut is very thin. So would it be this wide and then this tall? I'm thinking like 4-to-1 ratio. I don't know. So the ratio, but then I want blackout. So black versus nothing. So no fancy tiny lines, just a hard blackout something. And I want the message. That's the part I have to figure about. I know what the meaning is. Like, this is a story.
Mm-hmm.
So something about how, and that depends on a lot. Like if there was a Latin word, which I don't like Latin. This is an example. If there was a Latin word that meant the message you wanted, well then in what way would you put a word in a rectangle? Also, I wanted to incorporate the yin yang. So I was thinking you take this and then you do a 45 horizontal. So you have, like, if it was text in a block, this half is inverted, but it's still black and white, something like that.
Sounds kind of minimalistic.
It's fairly simple.
Linear, minimalistic, hard blacks.
Depends. The first thing to figure out is the meaning and then how you want to convey that meaning. So if you have a meaning and you have it in the form of a symbol, like, oh no, pick fish. I'm trying to think of something that's a weird shape. Then how do you make that fit in that dimension that you want? And then how do you make it? Yeah, I have to think about all that.
Mm-hmm.
So
you have several ideas that you'd incorporate into one thing, which is cool.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Like I have a good general idea what I want. So I know what ish and where. That's important.
Do you know what space you want it to fill, roughly?
Well, you mean within the dimensions, like how much of that is black, or you mean
Or
how big
on
is
your
the
body?
tattoo?
Where does the tattoo end on you?
Yeah,
It's on your
so-
shoulder here, collarbone
it's,
area.
well, for one thing, it's not visible with a shirt on. That's one thing I
Stops
want.
here.
So that means the height is limited. Because if the scar is here, I mean,
Does it go lower on your chest, like over here?
well, it's the scar would be in the middle of it. So,
Oh, so it's kinda
it's
up
not any
here.
lower beneath the scar than it is above the scar. It's not going to do this. It's going to be this, perfectly surrounding it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I wonder if it's going to have to get
I have a really funny idea, but I know you wouldn't. This is just as a joke.
knock
but
yourself out.
you can imagine that they tattoo a line over the scar, and then it shows you on your bike with your phone in your hand on this side of the road.
Crashing into the scar line. That's funny.
Yeah, because that's why you got it. I know there's more to it that you want the
Way
tattoo.
more to it.
I know, but the idea is just like it's just a retelling of what
Actually,
happened.
the very first thought I had, and I think this is too stupid now. The very first thought I had was like a motorcycle chain tattoo on the line because the brace underneath looks like a motorcycle chain. I'm like, well, that's redundant,
Yeah,
and it doesn't have meaning.
yeah.
So I can do better than that. But maybe that pattern of chain links could be used in the I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A lot of tattoo artists like a challenge like that. So
Well,
maybe
I don't want.
well, maybe you could find a guy who you like his work, and then you go to him and you say, I like rectangle, I like dark lines, I like yin yang, and I generally like this font, and then maybe you pick another thing. I don't know, like a fish or something.
You said a challenge. I'm like, well, I don't want him to wing it. You know, I need to have this design planned out very well first before it's permanent is all, you know.
Well, yeah, but some people...
Yours, it sounds like you gave...
complete freedom to him.
Not complete, but mostly. A lot of interpretation, it sounded like.
Yep.
Where I don't want to do that. I want to go copy and paste this. That's what I want to do. I want to have it figured out. Because it's simple enough. Yours is really intricate, so you kind of need... Like, how do you map out all that shoulder room on a flat plane on paper as an illustration, whereas mine is like a rectangle, for example, so you could just draw it. That's the hope anyway.
I have one regret with my tattoo. One total, and this is the only one. And this is what I wish I would have stood my ground for. But the way I got a very expensive guy to do it. He's local, but he's very expensive. And he says, I do all my work for the tattoos the night before. And he said, you can cancel if you want.
Night before what?
You mean, before the
drawing.
tattoo.
You mean...
He doesn't, you go there. He said, this is what I came up with. If you don't like it, we can do it another day. But he takes a long time to get ready. Like, I would have to wait another month or so. I was like, I got the money now. I want to do it right now. I got over eager. Well, what I did is I supplied him with a tree that I drew that I wanted him to put on the top, a picture of one of my dad's hawks that I liked, a poem, a song that I wrote in college, and then a map of the city. And I wanted it all integrated as one piece. Well, I wanted the tree as exactly as I drew it. I drew it a little crooked.
Yeah.
Went there, and he had showed me the design, and I was looking around, and the first thing I noticed is like, that is not the tree that I drew. And he's like, no, it is. And I was like, no, that's not. And he's like, I actually just mirrored the best side of it. And I said,
then that's not the exact tree.
And he's like, don't you like it? And I was like,
being the nice asshole I am, I said, yeah.
And I wish I would have said, no, I want the crooked ass tree.
Yeah.
I drew it that way because I like how it looks. And on my shoulder, like my shoulder isn't perfect. There's like a tricep here and a bicep here. So like it can be crooked to match that.
I get it.
So I was disappointed.
But I probably would have done the same thing. I mean, realistically, I'd be eager to like, no, let's do it. It's fine. I'll get over it.
It was a $1,600 tattoo. So part of me was just like, let's just get it going.
So that tattoo is probably, if I remember, not counting the amount of ink, but the amount of space it covers, like 3 or 4 times the size of the one I think I want. It's way bigger. So how long did it take that? Was it 2 days?
2 sessions.
2 8-hour sessions?
No, I only did about 5 hours each session. Okay. There's this crazy thing that like I knew that it was going to be kind of sore, but nobody I'd talked to had ever done that long of a session before. They basically like the longest one I ever had was 3 hours, and it was sore for the first 5 minutes, but it was fine eventually. Well, I came in with the mindset that like it'll hurt at first and then it'll be fine. Well, what happens is it does hurt at first and then it is fine. And then about 4 hours in, it starts hurting again and you're very fatigued and your muscles are shaking.
Right. Yeah.
It's extremely painful at that point.
Yeah.
And in a very fatigued way. Like it's like your arm has been
the fatigue. It's like you've been tense.
Yep.
And then finally
it's like you've been holding something for hours. It's heavy and it hurts. And so like it got to the point where my arm was shaking so much. He's like, man, you got to stop shaking your arm. And I was like, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't even know I was shaking. It's starting to hurt really bad. And he's like, oh, you're probably fatigued then.
Yeah.
We should probably stop. I didn't even consider, I've not done a long session in a while. And so I was like, okay, yeah, we'll stop for today and I'll come back.
So 5 hours when you finally tapped out, you finally react.
We had scheduled like 7 hours, I think. So I only missed 2 hours.
Well, you have, I don't know how tattooing works. I would think with a lot of curves, maybe not, and with a lot of thin lines, more detail essentially, I would think I'd take longer. Mine is going to be, I think, very simple, hard black and white.
You might be able to do it in less than an hour.
I think no more than 3, I wouldn't think, based on what I would think. But
this was extremely detailed, and that's why it took long. I've seen people with like similarly detailed tattoos that were slightly less long, like less intricate, take like an hour and a half. Like some of my old roommate's tattoos, some of his that were big took like an hour. I was like, that only took an hour? How is that possible? He's like, well, you got to think yours was like a whole bunch of stuff. The other thing that sucks about the tattooing is the shading. Like the line sucks, but the shading really sucks because because
you just do it again and again with like thinner and luckily I won't have that. It's literally Sharpie, so it's black or not. That's all it is. That's what mine's going to be.
It actually okay,
but he'll be on it for a long time though to get it right, to get completely blacked out.
They're both hurt in different ways.
Yeah.
Like the shading. Let me describe it to you. It's like 7 needles in a quick row, and they're thin needles. But then they put it like this. They go back and forth like this, and then if they need it to be darker, they really hard. And he was a pretty heavy-handed guy, so.
And what was I gonna say?
It's not terrible. It's actually not as bad as it sounds when they do the initial, but when they pull it off and they wipe it off to see how it looks, and then they're like, it's not done, and they put it back on there. That's when it's like,
I'll bet.
There was one time when it got right here, like the most sensitive part of your bicep, and there was like a bunch he had to do. He pulled it off, wiped it. Nope, not done. Did it like 4 times, and the 4th time I was just like, I think it's done. It was really painful.
I'm honestly not worried about the needles because I got shots for warts. I can't remember what the thing is called. It sounds like Canada, but it's not Canada, whatever the medicine's called. But it's very painful because they put needles in your fingertips.
Ooh.
So, that's a pretty good metric for needles and sensation. So like I can deal with that. I don't like it, but I can do it. So that I'm not worried about. What I'm worried about is all the nerve damage I have and him going on the bone and on the brace.
That'll hurt.
I'm afraid that's going to be absolutely miserable. And then worse, there's going to be people like, I don't know, maybe you going, why are you being such a whiny little bitch? It's just that I'm like, you don't have this.
I know. No, I think that the metal will hurt. But I know people, tattoo artists.
The nerve damage, what I'm worried about. He might be doing it up here and I'll be feeling it in my whole arm because of this. Like,
it might zing, but
I want it done right. So like, if I have to deal with it, I'll deal with it. I want it done right.
I know that there's people, like tons of people all over the place who have had like braces on their legs or, amputees that have super sensitive areas, that they get tattoos over. So tattoo artists know how to do it in a way that's less painful and they won't cause damage.
It will be done.
Yeah. That's exciting. I actually hope you do it. I think you won't regret it.
I don't think so either.
Like I didn't even get it. Like I said, there's a whole huge part of the tattoo that I didn't get the way I wanted it. And I don't regret getting it. I think it looks fine.
I wanted to find a good tattoo artist and I might have to for the design if I want his help. But when it comes to putting it on, I'm anticipating the tattoo design is going to be so simple. Any tattoo artist could do it. I'm anticipating it to be that simple. What I really need is someone to help me if I illustrate it because that I won't be able to do, I don't think.
Our guy who's doing our logo could do it for you.
Yeah, probably.
He's really good.
I mean, my logo is simple enough, I think. Logo, whatever it's going to be. I don't know.
He's good at all that stuff. I almost asked him to design mine, but he was busy at the time. He lived in another country, so he couldn't do mine.
But I'm busy living in another country. That checks out.
Yeah.
It checks out.
It works for me, at least. Yeah, the way I think of it is like, I'd go get more tattoos now, but I just do not have money. I
wonder why.
And I also think that any tattoo I'd get in addition, unless I went to the same guy and had just as extreme of tattoo, would be just as much.
So
but I don't think
1,600 was that?
It was like 1,300, and I paid big tip. It was like 1,380, big tip.
But the total was 16.
I paid him like $200 tip.
Okay, so 1,400 roughly. Was that for
everything?
Yeah, but that means not just the application, but designing. Okay, interesting.
He does that guy in particular. I think it was $100 deposit for him to design it, and then you could pull out whenever you wanted. If you didn't like his design, he'd give you I think he'd keep like 50 of it or something for his time and for doing that. But
what city did you do this in?
It's the one right by my house.
Okay, I was going to ask if you, I thought it was,
but they're actually like nationally known. There's one guy there who I did not want to wait like 5 months to see, but he has like a 5-month long waiting list because he is like very good.
Cool.
They're all good there.
I'll just go there.
Yeah. No, the other guy.
And then I'll go to your house and drink alcohol for the pain, quotes.
Yeah.
And then spend the night there.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I should yeah, the reason I haven't moved on it is because I've been lazy and I haven't sat time sitting quietly. I can't put my hands together and really meditating on what that tattoo is and means. I need to do that first. It's importante. At least it should be. That's kind of the point, I think, for me. I remember saying to you before years ago, I'd never get a tattoo unless it was like really meaningful. I was like, well, nothing means anything. Or I don't have, there is no meaning. No, you know.
You get a tattoo.
But now I'm finally there. It's like, I could justify a tattoo now.
You got some life experience.
I got a mark now.
Yeah. Yep. Mark your territory. That's what I do. It's this means something to me, and it means this time in my life. And so if I get another one, it'll mean this time in life, which will be freaking cool because it's super different than this time was.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad it's not going to cost. I mean, even if mine costs as much as yours, which it really shouldn't, that is expensive by any standard.
I think I know what I want to do on the inside here.
What?
I'd like to get a ship, and I'd like to put some other lyrics that I wrote. It'd be cool if each piece was, and I don't do anything with these lyrics. It's purely for me. It'd be cool if like maybe I publish songs one day that have these lyrics in it, but that's not the point.
That's not the point. It's for you.
Yeah, like these were lyrics, but anyway. And then this one, the lyrics, I'd get the ship. There was what are the lyrics? Sinking ships in syrup, poking holes inside this boat, slowly filling, sweet but chilling. Hopefully we float. Something like that. And I liked how it. Yeah. Anyway.
Do you worry that like, unless you had the same guy do it, that the artistry or the type would look different? If it's like, yes, this font. Oh no,
Hopefully.
Aren't you worried they might clash? It would look like two different tattoos next, rather than like one continuous person did it. That's a concern I would have.
I think I'll go back to the same guy.
That would make sense. May as well, since you can, just make that. That's your best chance of making sure it looks coherent.
No, I want for sure that this part, when I do the gauntlet, I would like that to be different than this. I want this to be artistry.
It doesn't mean the same guy can't do it, but it's gonna have its own.
Because this is art piece. I'd want this to be art piece. And then I want this to be sort of tribal, like, because I want it to be patterns.
So tribal.
And stuff.
I did briefly look up tattoos to see what types are. Tribal would be a good descriptor for the kind that I want. Tribal and blackout, those two things. So it's just high contrast, black and white. That's it. So tribal is like that, but with like, I like angular shapes, but I'm not opposed to. Tribal has a lot of curvature and organic shapes to it. So, and that's one thing I'd want to. What's the word? Consultation for. Whatever. I might ask you about him later because I don't know.
My guy was really good too. He was the newest guy on the staff, but he was also like highly regarded and super talented. And I was like,
But you still had to wait a month.
Yeah, I had to wait a month. I didn't want to make 5 months though.
Yeah.
Maybe it's worth it to. I might wait for that other guy for this one when I do it.
Do you know if they're still open?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, because I did also look around briefly. I Googled parlors, and apparently a lot of them are some were closed.
This place is called Champions Tattoo. I should say that. Champions Tattoo in Olathe on Santa Fe. They're very good. They're all extremely talented, and I highly recommend them.
Can't wait. Because isn't that right next to a liquor store?
Yep.
Isn't that perfect?
Yep. And it's really, really close to where I live.
That sounds like fun.
I literally walked up there when I got my tattoo. I was like, this is cool. Here I go.
Yeah.
Walked home, like holding up like a bandage.
Shaking.
It was crazy to describe it because I remember like when I got up, because you keep your arm on the thing so they have a good weight, like
so it doesn't move.
Platform, yeah. I remember I stood up and I lifted my arm and it was like, it like quaked on the way to me, and I was like, it is, and my fingers were like just shaking. It was a long session. Both times that happened.
Did they tell you about exercise after that? Like, hey, you can't exercise for the next 2 days, or like a week, or they didn't say anything?
The healing, I think it takes normally like 2 or 3 weeks to do. They give you, what you do is you buy like hydro something. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a lotion type thing. You clean it, you scrub it gently with paper towels, with soap, you clean it. And then you take this hydro sealant stuff and you rub it gently on there with clean hands. And then you cover it for the first couple of days
with saran wrap.
I think you can do that. I don't want to just don't take my advice. I don't remember exactly, but
you just tell me what you know.
yeah. So what I did is I would just cover it, and then when I went to sleep at night, in case I rolled on it, I just cover it in paper towel, clean one, and then when I woke up, I could pull it off. And you can wear shirts and stuff, but it's like raw the first 2 days, and then after that, kind of scabs. And then you don't pick the scabs. Like even if you want to, even if they're kind of falling away, you just let it get on there because it'll heal better and the ink will stay. If you pull the scab, then some of the ink will come too.
Yep.
Won't heal great. That happened at one thing here, and now it's like one of the letters is like faded in this gross way. So I have to fix that next time I go too.
Oh shoot, I was gonna say something. Oh yeah, I remember. I think it was after 2 days you get your tattoo. Your arm looked like a raw piece of meat with plastic on it. That's what it looked like. I was like, that's pretty gross. The worst meat I've seen in person was this stitched up. It looked like a pig, a slaughtered pig.
Yep.
That was about to go on a spit. Like, so that's what it looked like. It was really gross.
Dude,
it didn't look human.
Yeah. I've seen that on my face before when I slipped on the ice.
Your chin.
Yeah. Because the chin, what happened is I was on like kind of a date with this gal that I really liked, and I've never been ice skating, and I thought I have good balance. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
And she like grabbed my hand to do like the cute thing where you pull your date along when they're not safe. And I was like, you gotta let go. And so she let go finally. And like, I just slipped and boom, hit it, split this open, and this like flap of skin beneath my neck was like just hanging there. I could totally see my jawbone. That also fractured. I fractured my jawbone. I had to get 12 stitches on my chin. I have like a scar there. Broke a tooth too. I just completely snapped this tooth in half. That sucked. That was the most painful thing that ever happened to me.
The tooth?
All that. Just hitting the ice. I've broken bones.
How old were you?
18, I think. I've broken arm. I've broken my hand in 3 places 2 times. I've broken my nose twice. I've had a lot of painful things.
What made the chin and or the tooth the worst? Because they're like the chin is a bone. So why that one? Just because the face?
Searing pain. I think it's because it was like 6 injuries at once. I had terrible whiplash. All the way from my neck all the way down. Had to get therapy on that for a couple months. Couldn't turn my head this way for a while. That's one thing. Then I cracked my jaw, broke a tooth, split my chin open with the skin hanging back.
I think most injuries at once kind of would constitute a good reason.
And concussed myself really bad, obviously. I was like very dizzy for a few days. Couldn't drive myself. I had to call my granddad to pick me up from this date.
I bet she didn't kiss you or anything.
It was so bizarre because we were with other friends, and I think I embarrassed her, but she also felt bad.
Perfect. That's exactly it. You're embarrassing me as you're on the ground laying.
It was awful.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to not be insensitive, but in retrospect, the situation is just funny.
She just stayed and kept skating because, like, what else are you going to do? Like, I couldn't take her. It wasn't really a date too, but it was the first time.
It's pretty standard, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the first time kind of dating.
I also went skating with the girl because I liked her, and then I embarrassed her by not being as good at skating as she wanted me to be. That's just how it goes.
Yeah. 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 There was
Sorry,
blood.
I was trying to do something you wanted.
Right.
Yeah.
There was blood all over the ice.
And she's like, "You're embarrassing me." I love that so much.
Why couldn't you? Why did you have to ruin this for me?
What do you do? What do you do? Why are you so selfish?
One of the guys was like a heaven sent. He was so nice, but like one of the friends that she knew better than I did, like helped me to the bathroom because I was very out of it. Spat a tooth out, and he got paper towels. I was just bleeding everywhere. The dude on the ice was like, "Can we get someone to come mop the ice? Like this has happened 1,000 times." Yeah, it was bad. The guy, when I went, this is one of the bad parts too. Pain comes in waves, and especially when you apply pressure because it was fractured. We got to the hospital, and they had to do an x-ray to see if it was broken. And I was like, it's not broken in half because my jaw is still intact, but it is fractured. And they're like, we have to still x-ray it. We can see the fracture line, blah, blah, blah. Well, the only way they can actually x-ray your jaw is that there's like this
a headrest.
Yep, a headrest mount
Yep.
where you take your head and you have to dig your jaw in like this so that I can see you. was like, this is so counterintuitive. Why would you ever make something like this?
Yeah.
Anyway, if you're breaking a jaw, maybe there's a better way to look at it, but I guess there's not. So I put it there. This is the worst part. I put it there, took a picture. They were like, we can't see it. We got to do it again.
Yeah.
Took it again. Couldn't see it. Like, we still can't see it. I don't know. Maybe it's just the swelling and how much blood there is, but we just can't see it. Do it one more time. They did it again. They're like, yeah, we're not going to get a good x-ray, so we don't really know if it's fractured or not. And I was like, well, look. And I pulled the skin down, and they looked and like, oh, yeah, there it is. It's fractured. And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
That's what I told you.
That's funny.
Oh, it sucked so bad.
Well, look with your eyes.
The x-rays were gnarly, too, because you could just see, like, my jaw, and you saw the broken tooth, and you just saw, like, just so much, like, it looked like fog, but it was, like, swelling and blood in my face. Yeah.
You mentioned the jaw and the thing, and I remembered the most painful part of me breaking my collarbone was in the MRI because they had me well, it's not like they're at fault for anything, but it was just really, what's the word, inconvenient. So I'm laying on the side opposite, I'm laying on my left, and they want me to stay on my side. Well, you're using your muscles to balance, which meant I was using all of my muscles and trying to hold it like this for, it felt like a long time. I felt like 10 minutes is probably just 5 very long minutes, but it was more painful than any other point. This is after I've had morphine. Like, I was like, this is so painful. It's overcoming morphine. I have tears.
Yeah.
So, but still not the most painful thing I've had.
Yeah. Technically, I think the most painful thing probably was when I broke my arm, but the most painful thing that I vividly remember was the jaw.
Yeah, it sounds like a winner.
When I broke my arm, I was 7, and I lived in the same neighborhood I live now, and I was practicing cartwheeling off the couch as a 7-year-old does. And I had done it several times successfully at my house. So I went to my aunt's house across the street, and my mom was there. I was like, Mom, can I cartwheel off the couch? No, you cannot cartwheel off the couch. You're going to break something. I did it like 5 times at the house. It's fine. She's like, you cartwheeled at our house 5 times. Like, yes. And I did it. Like, I really did. She's like, okay. So I'm extra excited because my mom said I can actually cartwheel off this couch. Didn't realize the couch is actually taller at my aunt's house.
Yeah.
Cartwheel, snap. This arm just completely gave in on me.
That's so funny. You're going to break something.
Yep. No, she literally was like, I remember that was the first time as a kid I talked my mom into letting me do something dangerous, and I ruined it. We got to the hospital, and she goes, I'm never letting you do anything like that again. And I was like, I was already like, my arm is like, just the Family Guy meme, the Tom Segura arm. Gosh, gnarly. It was nasty. Yeah. Breaking your nose hurts like crazy too. You've done that.
Well, yeah, but not in the way you have. Like, I don't want to break my nose. I don't want to do that.
It hurts. Yeah, the second way I broke my nose was the worst. What's funny is that I was like, I think I was 6 the first time I broke my nose, because I broke my nose, then I broke my arm, then I broke my nose again, then I broke my hand twice in 2 different times, 3 different places. But the first time I broke my nose, I was running around this empty church at night. My parents were talking with families, as parents do, and socializing. And the room is completely black, like dark, where church service is being held, and there's tables stacked up in the corner, running in the dark. And my mom says, it's time to go. And I turn to her like, okay. And I'm looking at her for a bit long because I'm thinking, wow, it's interesting, her silhouette in the light. And she looks like a shadow person. That's so cool. Poof, hit the tables and just broke my nose, and white shirt was ruined, and went to the hospital. But you can't do anything for a broken nose. So they're just like, sorry, you can't do anything. Well, my nose healed freaking crooked like this. I had a crooked nose for 2 years as a little kid. Not super crooked, but crooked enough that when you look like, oh, that is crooked. 2 years later, I'm wrestling with my buddy down in Missouri, and we're on this bed. Well, the bed is bumped up next to a window. The windowsill just kind of kisses the very top of the mattress like this, so it looks like one flat surface. We're wrestling on the bed. He's bigger than me. He's trying to pin me down, and I'm just giving him a heck of a time because I'm a tough little kid. Well, finally, he gets me on my stomach, and I'm like, you can't pin my shoulders. And so he goes and like this, and he elbows my back right here. I'm kind of hanging half off the bed, and he didn't see the window sill right here. So when he elbows me, my head slams down into the window, and that one hurt the most.
I'll bet.
But my nose broke like this way that time. So my mom was there, and of course the kid is, I'm so sorry. He's crying because he's upset that he broke my nose, and my mom was like, hey, guess what? You know how you didn't like that your nose was like, I can't bet. She's like, hey, you know how you didn't like your nose was crooked? Watch, we can put it straight. She went, and she like pulled it. It's like, yeah, exactly. And she like tried to position. She goes, sorry, it looks so good. Don't touch it. It was it was bizarre.
That's funny.
That hurt so bad.
It sounds like she made the right decision.
Yeah, and what's funny is that on the outside it is straight now, but the underneath it's super crooked.
Yeah,
because you can't. There's so much blood. There was no way to know that this needed to go this way. Anyway, one day I'll probably have it surgically fixed so that this isn't like this anymore. It'll be like regular. This goes back up.
Looks pretty straight.
It looks pretty straight, but like when I go like this, you see that this down here is tilted that way. Yeah, and the other thing that broke about it is up in my septum. The top part of that, when I broke it backwards, like healed in a weird way to where there's like a flap, and it covers one of my nostrils at all times. But it's a loose flap, so I could like. This is so bizarre that I'm telling you this on the podcast. But if I like sit upside down, then I can breathe out of both nostrils. Like, it's nice. But if I sit with my head forward, then it closes like this side. Now I can breathe on the end of this one. So stupid. Yeah, I've had a lot of injuries. My mom. Look, we can fix your crooked nose. There, aren't you happy about that?
Look what you can do with your arm. You can do this now. Isn't this great? She's like picking up, throwing it around.
Oh gosh. That's ridiculous.
I think it has a gag. Like every time something breaks, of course, it always gets worse.
Now you just stretch here.
Look, yeah, look.
Now you can scratch your own
They're
back.
just like the newly people outside the car lot. Look at this.
I love now you can scratch your own back.
Oh my gosh. Look at this.
Yeah. I remember the weirdest thing about it. I broke my forearm, one of my bones in my forearm, and because there's two of them there. And what I remembered about it is like how, like it was still where it should be, but it was rotated in a gross way. I was like, oh. I remember like pulling my thumb in, and my thumb being back here coming in. It was weird.
Nah, no thanks. I'll pass.
There's a weird thing that happens when you have a broken arm and you move your fingers or something, where it's like, oh, it hurts like my arm is broken, but my fingers are still moving. So like you see people with their arms like completely snapped in two places and their hand is still closing, but it's dangling down here, and they're like, what? Yeah, that freaks me out.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I know. Yeah. What was the worst injury you ever had?
Oh, it was the stomach thing. You know that, right?
Carrots?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mine is like a massive like traumatic injury, and yours is carrots for dinner.
Yeah, I think I'm allergic to carrots, long story short.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah. Had carrots, and it's funny because I always remember telling my parents, like, I complained like every kid, you only eat vegetables. I hated carrots. Did my way taste it, but I always complained that it made my stomach feel choppy. That was the word I used. Of course, they didn't pay any mind to that because I wouldn't eat anything else anyway.
Just so you know, we have told this on the podcast before. So
oh, okay, sorry.
That's okay.
I won't retell it. Well, the stomach thing, basically, all night, all like 12 hours, inflamed, couldn't sleep, so missed sleep, whatever. But welling waves of pressure and pain. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've broken my bone, and that was hella more painful. Like if you had to go through the experience again of the pain, one or the other, assuming there's no permanent damage, it's just feelings, right? Like break your collarbone, feeling your bone's not really broken, versus like absolutely I'll take the collarbone. I mean, I don't even.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe it's because I had. No. I was gonna say I had morphine for the bone. I didn't have morphine for the stomach, so that's something. But still, I don't know.
My favorite, biggest pain of your life story is from my dad, and he says that he was hanging out with like his friend and his little brother, and they had this empty Pringles can, and they were kind of bonking on the table. And one of them got it in their head they were going to hit my dad over the head with it. Well, Pringles cans have that metal rim at the bottom. And I'm sure with enough force, that would hurt really bad on the top of your head. Well, one, like his friend or his brother, I can't remember who, but like took this Pringles can and went whap as hard as he could swing on the top of his head. And like, or maybe it was the other way. Maybe my dad hit his friend. It was one or the other. And they describe it as the most painful thing that happened, but they're just blood just coming down their head and their head was like shaking. The way my dad tells the story is funny.
Good.
That's that like the more I think, like I look at Pringles can, I'm like, that is deadly weapon right there.
It's also an exhaust for your crappy car. It also connects piping underneath your hood in an emergency. You go to a convenience store. If you have a break and you cut a Pringles can and you wrap that around and you tape it, and then that's your connecting pipe until you can get fixed. Because it's just a tube.
Yeah.
It's a relatively strong tube, better than a toilet paper roll.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yo, Rot MacGyver.
No.
Yeah.
It's just what just makes sense. Car's broken.
Oh,
Pringles.
Our sponsor for today's episode, Pringles. If
if your car is broken down or if you're having a breakdown, Pringles.
If you need a little salt or if your car is under assault, then you can Pringles.
If you're having a breakdown or your car is breaking down because you're as single as a Pringle, Pringles.
Yeah. Whether you need something for your lunch or for your lunch break at work in your car. Pringles in your car.
If you're the kind of guy who likes to go, hey, watch this, and put them in your mouth so it looks like you're making a little duck face, Pringles.
If you're the guy who likes to put it in your mouth like this and then punch your tongue through it and then eat it, Pringles. That's what I do. I punch my tongue through the Pringle.
If you like to interject in conversations with awkward chip chewing ASMR,
that's what you get.
Pringles. Huh?
That'd be a great bit. Do you like to interrupt conversations with chip chewing ASMR? Yeah, Pringles.
Yeah, Pringles. If you like to play with your food and play with the container after you're done eating the food, Pringles.
If you're a big fan of potatoes, but not real potatoes, Pringles.
That's a favorite one. If you're a fan of potato chips but hate the air in the bag, Pringles.
If you want a stack of food, Pringles.
I can't think of what else I used to do with Pringles as a kid. I'm like, my eyes playing, looking through it. I think I named it all.
Need a word that rhymes with jingles? Pringles.
Shingles.
Yeah, right. Something worse than Pringles? Whatever the waves. Yeah.
Lays.
Yeah.
Took me too long to get there, but I got there.
When you don't want to get Lays, Pringles. That was a joke about getting laid in there.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I should have said that.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense because
when you don't want to get laid.
But no one doesn't want to not get laid, so it's
but the idea is that you don't want to get Lays.
I know, but it makes more sense if it was a Lay's commercial and it's pro-lay, pro-laid.
Hey, a question about Lays. Is a single Lay's chip a lay?
It's a Lay's.
You think that's a Lay's? One chip, a singular chip is Lay's. Or do you think all the chips together are Lay's? You took one out, it'd be a lay.
It's not like it's a lay. I think it's a chip. That's tough.
Well, yeah, it obviously is that, but
unfortunately, by the logic I've gone through my mind a couple times, you'd be correct because of the closest quick analogy comparison I can make is Oreos. So they're cookies, but you eat an Oreo. You don't eat an Oreos, so by that logic, you eat a lay.
Well, I guess that same logic. Then why aren't M&Ms called just M's when you eat one of them?
That one I've thought about before as a kid. That bugged me.
Yeah,
this is an M, and this is an M. M&Ms.
There's not even two M's on there. On each M&M, it's just one M.
I think they are M's. And we just stupidly call them M&Ms because we're idiots.
Well, they're also like, I understand why they call them M&Ms because it's like two men were named like with M names named this product, and so you call it an M&M candy. But
they're wrong.
But they only put one M on them.
Yeah.
You'd think you'd have two M's. Like even if they had an M on one side and an M on another side, that'd be fine. That's
the
two
Oreo,
M's.
I think, has just one O in the middle. Anyway, yeah, I always thought they're all M's, which then I guess you could call the bag call the bag M's.
Yeah.
But M and M's means the same thing. Whatever.
I think this conversation matters because there's some utility for the fact that if you could properly say, "Do you want to lay?" Then you can throw the bag away. Like if you have a girl over, you want to lay? They're like,
bag,
sure.
yeah.
And throw the bag away and sit there.
Until then, you got to keep using Smash Bros to get it.
Hey, you want to smash?
You want to smash?
Yeah. And then you actually
And then you actually do want to play Smash Bros because it's Smash Bros.
Smash Bros was fun.
Hey, you want to get laid? Yeah. Whip out Smash Bros. Lay Smackdown.
Here's the thing that makes it confirmed in my mind that it's lay.
Okay.
Doritos. Do you want a Doritos?
Yeah,
No, you want a Dorito.
There's another, yeah, that's a close
Fritos?
analogy.
You want a Fritos? No, you don't say that. You say you want a Frito.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that's 3 out of 1 there. So
Lay.
3 out of 1.
It's a lay.
Yeah, it's lay.
Oh, lay. You call it a Pringle. You don't call it a Pringles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
It's settled then. It's a lay.
I'm glad we had this intellectual conversation to stimulate our thinking abilities and come up with sales slogans for Pringles.
Mm-hmm. What was our favorite one? If you want a food that you can stack.
Stacks.
Pringles.
No. My favorite one is if you like potatoes, but not real potatoes.
Thanks.
I liked yours better than mine.
If you want. I love games like that.
Yeah.
Come up with a slogan for it.
We've done that before, like chess, like come up with slogans. I'm not going to go into those right now.
Oh, gosh, there were some funny ones.
That could be a fun recurring game. It's like, okay, let's make slogans for this.
Yeah.
Nothing has. That's something we'd actually do on our own time.
Oh, and we have
that
fun with
Pringles back and forth taking turns. We do that stuff sometimes.
You know who's really good at that game? The go back and forth and create a new. Nathan is really good at that.
I'll bet.
He is very quick-witted when it comes to that stuff. My old roommate.
Oh, I want to briefly tell a quick an example of that. So I had a car here. I was visiting. My R8 had a flat tire. I went to stay with you, and I relayed my woes to you and Nathan about how I can't go because there is no extra tire for that car. I can't just replace it. I have to wait for another one. And he said, "There is no hope without despair."
Spare tire.
So good. It's funny because he said that, and I raised my hand like this. He was on the couch below me. I raised my hand. He
thought you were gonna hit
in
him.
defense. He thought I was going to hit him because I was mad at his pun, but I was actually prepared to give him a big high five because it was so brilliant. His reaction was funny because he actually thought I was just going to smack him.
Yeah,
That was great.
That was funny.
Despair.
There is no hope without despair.
Oh my gosh, perfect. It's even better than my lame, intense one, but I want to get into that. Like, it's just perfect. All right. I want to quit forever. I want to learn about tattoos.
All right, it's up to you. It's your show, buddy.
It is.
But before you do, I have to tell everybody something really important that I've been thinking about for a really long time. I didn't just think about this right now. I'm trying to make up something to say on the spot.
As long as you've been thinking about it for a long time.
I've been thinking about it for
say it.
Such a long time. It's not at all that I'm going to make up something on improv random right now. That's going to be a joke. That's not it. It's been very thought out.
I can't wait.
2 turtle are falling down. Oh no. Banned.
I couldn't keep it in. The delivery was perfect. I would try to re-say it, but there's no point. I'll just listen to it again later. Yeah. So good.
Thanks.
It's like, all right.
All that to say, I'll see you later. You can
make me laugh in 6 words. Okay. And then you say that. All right. Yeah. This is all for now. Thank you all for listening, our loyal listeners. I guess we'll see you next time. I'm going to switch the camera out over here. Don't edit early last time. Again, you did that last time. That joke's been done. Thank you. You will hear us next time.
Oh, I wanted you so bad. That would have been really funny. Okay, bye.
Goodbye.